This is Dr. Fred Foy Strang, and welcome to the Moment for Mission podcast. I'm really glad you're joining me today. The powerful forces of social media, news, and popular opinion can easily overwhelm us and cause us to drift far from our mission and vision. We're continuing our thoughts about things that can hinder in our pursuits. So today on Moment for Mission, I'm considering this topic. Going with the flow can be detrimental to your mission. Before we delve into this topic, I want to share another Fred Foy fact. As I have previously noted, I have a love for the beach and the ocean. I've been in the water since a young age and have always enjoyed snorkeling and scuba diving. I have been an advanced open water diver since 1972, and I have my dive master level rating. I enjoy spearfishing, lobstering, exploring various underwater environments, and for a while, I was into underwater photography. The experience of being underwater and becoming comfortable and confident in that environment is an amazing sensation. I'm currently teaching a college course entitled Introduction to Humanities. One of the things I shared with my students yesterday is that during the course of our class, we were all going to work on our critical and creative thinking skills. Through our study of the humanities, we would be learning to deal critically and logically with subjective, complex, and often imperfect information, that we would be weighing evidence with skepticism, considering more than one side of every question. Now, those may be tall marching orders, but I hope we have some fun trying to get it all done. Since we returned from Africa a couple of months ago, I have been amazed at the current divisiveness in my home country. Now, whatever side of a political, societal, religious spectrum one may fall, it seems that there is very little significant dialogue, even less good thinking, and no civility whatsoever. Watching and reading the news is wearisome, and even at the local level, issues become blown out of all proportion, devolving into name-calling, accusation, and even violence. When we allow ourselves to be swept up into the mass morass of muddled minds, then whatever good thinking or good intentions our or our organization's missions may have easily flies right out the window. It is really easy, however, to get caught up in those loud voices, the crowd consensus, and just go with the flow. I had a scuba diving experience where I had to use all my strength and knowledge to fight going with the flow. Some years ago, Cecily and I were leading a college short course in the Bahamas on the contemplative Christian life. Our classroom was a liveaboard barefoot sailboat. We visited a number of islands and did a few service projects along the way. It was a wonderful trip, where we were all able to disconnect from our crazy lives and really reflect on important things. The waters of the Bahamas are crystal clear, and we all enjoyed snorkeling. Cecily and I also had a chance for some scuba diving. On one of our dives, we found ourselves on a shallow reef rising up between two very deep areas. The sailboat was moored on one side of that reef. As the tide turned, water began to rush over the shallow reef at such a rate that we were unable to swim against it. We were literally being swept out to sea with the powerful flow. The sailboat could not rescue us as the reef was between us and the open ocean. Exhausted, we descended to the bottom and held on to some rocks. Cecily grabbed hold of my weight belt, and I literally clawed hand over hand, pulling us along the bottom for what seemed like hours until we surfaced close enough to make a final energy swim to the rescue rope and ring that the boat had put out for us. Now, we learned a couple of things on that dive, but one of them was just how easy it is to be swept away into the abyss by a powerful flow. No matter who you are, you have a voice. You may have a vote. You have a pen, you have a keyboard, you have a mobile phone. With those tools, you can make a difference. You can choose to go against the flow in order to further your or your organization's missions. Now, this isn't easy. In my diving near disaster story, it took every energy of my body and will to go against the flow of the tide. In the same way, when we decide to go against the flow of misinformation or bigotry or racism or hatred or hurtful attitudes, popular opinion, political potshots, religious Phariseeism, social injustice, you name it, then we will be up against some powerful flow forces that will certainly require all of our energies of body and mind and spirit. Now, of course, the easy way out is to do nothing or simply go along with the flow. But will this advance my mission? Will I be able to see my vision through if I acquiesce my values and eschew the greater good of neighbor, community, nation, and world? Paul the Apostle wrote to Christians in Rome, "Do not be conformed to the world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will know the good and perfect and acceptable will of God." Transformation is being illuminated by a higher power such that I'm able to shed some light and truth among shadows of darkness and deceit. Just a few months ago, we were in the home of a dear Maasai friend in East Africa. The simple mud and dung-plastered stick frame house had no window. Inside it was very dark, and this is purposeful. But when we found our way inside, a single wick was lit, and that one tallow brought light to the entire home. When we allow ourselves to simply go with the flow without careful, creative, and critical thinking, then we can really be at risk of forfeiting our mission and clouding our vision. Mahatma Gandhi challenged people with these words, "Be the change you wish to see in the world." These things take some time. Perhaps time for prayer, certainly time for pondering. It's one reason why it is so important to take a regular moment for mission for yourself and even, I would say especially for organizations. We all need this purposeful reflection time. Go with the flow? Well, you certainly can, but the risk you may find yourself being swept away into the dangers of the open ocean. Better to pause, take that moment for mission, think through, pray through, discuss it through with confidants, and more often than not, go against the flow for the furtherance of your mission and for the betterment of this world. This is Dr. Foy Strang. Thanks for joining me, and have a great day.